Atlantic had an interesting hypothesis in regard to Donald Trump's wall along the Mexican border and how there could be some unintended consequences that maybe the Trump administration hasn't really thought about.
No.
It could actually lead to less people leaving the United States. So it starts off with this premise that, hey, it turns out that data indicates more immigrants are leaving the country than coming in. So net immigration from Mexico is actually at an all-time low as a result of the Great Recession. But if you build this wall, people who would have otherwise left might not leave because it'll be even more difficult to come back to the U.S., right? So this is an interesting theory. I want to hash it out a little bit. Now, they gave a little bit of history in regard to border security. Prior to 1986, it was actually a very porous border. It was easy to come in and come out. So a lot of undocumented immigrants, men to be specific, would come into the United States, they would work for a short period of time, and then they would go back to their families. And then things changed under the Reagan administration. So the increased fortification of the border wall after 1986 also altered the demographics of migration. Once men realized that they would settle in the United States because they couldn't go back and forth, they encouraged their wives and children to head north with them. So incredibly, Reagan's tough stance on immigration led to more undocumented immigrants in the country.
Yes, and we have this view of Reagan as a total right-winger, and he was in many respects. But remember, his stance on immigration was not that tough. He's the guy who did amnesty. So not kind of amnesty, not pretend amnesty, actual amnesty for every undocumented immigrant that was in the country at the time.
Right.
So by today's standards, they would consider that so far liberal that you couldn't get elected in a Democratic primary.
Exactly.
Right.
So now, fast forward to 2008, the recession hits, and after 2008, more Mexicans started returning to Mexico from the United States than those who crossed the border north. So the slow recovery of the U.S. economy after 2008 and the decreasing number of jobs available to immigrants made the United States less attractive. Fewer migrants sought to risk their lives at the border to come, and those who were already here but still had family members in Mexico returned home to be with them, right? So now there might be people who felt like maybe it's a good idea to leave, but they realize, maybe I should sit it out, because if it's going to be really difficult to come back into the country, then I'm just going to risk it by staying here and not leaving, and we'll see what happens as the economy improves. And it has been improving. So I don't know. I think it's an interesting theory, but what I take away from this story that apparently no one else in the media takes away is the fact that more Mexicans are leaving than coming into the country. Why are we going to spend billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars on a border wall that is such a huge waste of money? Also tunnels.
Well,
easy.
And tunnels.
Tunnels.
Okay, so I wanted to give you credit here. You're the one who's been pounding the drum on this issue, saying they're leaving. If you build a wall, they won't be able to leave. Okay, and Anna said this a long time ago, not only on this show, but on CNN and other places. And every time she says it, people are like, oh, I didn't know that. So nobody says, they now looked into this a little bit more. So there's two layers to this, right? First, they're thinking, if the wall gets built, I won't be able to come back in, so maybe I should stay. The second part will be when they actually build a wall. Now, we probably won't get there because Trump's incompetence, he won't be able to finish the wall, is my best guess. But if he did, then they'd literally be trapped. So right now, I read a story just in passing, I don't have the details for you guys here, that there was an immigrant center in Canada that had to temporarily stop because there was too many immigrants coming in from America.
Wow.
Okay, so people are fleeing in all directions. And so if you build a wall, the Mexicans can't get out.
Right. Now, some might argue, no, they're not going to give them a tough time if they're trying to leave the country. But remember, Trump believes in detaining these individuals in detention centers, like giving them essentially a prison sentence before deporting them.
And if you're thinking, wait, he wanted to get them out of the country, why would he even keep them here? Because they're private prisons.
Yes. And
they make a buck off of it. So that's the situation going on here. But so this will play out in a lot of different directions. But for the moment being, without the wall being built, people are, some of them, of course, want to stay. A lot of them want to stay. And they're staying put because they don't want to risk leaving and not being able to come back.
That's right.
So yes, counterintuitive and exact opposite of what Trump supporters wanted, where now undocumented immigrants are making sure that they stay.
Help us with Operation Watchdog. Help us hire 4 new reporting teams. We could be the watchers on the wall. Make sure we keep Trump and the establishment in check. TYTnetwork.com/go.